Welcome to the podcast that had its golden age while it was on hiatus. This is Two Nerds and a Joke with Robert and Ernie.
Thank you, disembodied hot girl voice. This is Two Nerds and a Joke with Robert and Ernie. I'm Ernie.
I'm Robert. He's Ernie.
Right?
Yes. I'm wearing my shark tooth today.
Well, we're here in the Sanctus Sanctorum.
Yes. Once again. Yes.
Horrible weather outside.
Oh, awful.
But we did get a chance to go out and explore.
Yes, we did. We did our live show last week.
Show?
Yeah. It was today that we recorded, but you have seen it last week.
You would have seen it last week.
Yeah. It was fun. It was good times.
Yeah, good times.
A lot of
good
fun.
times. A lot of rain.
Yeah.
A lot of rain.
Yeah. It was bad. What was it? Biblical rain? Was that word you used?
You could say that.
Yeah.
It was biblical rain.
It was biblical rain. Yeah. It was superhero rain.
Superhero rain.
It was Clark Kent in the rain looking at Lois's dead body kind of rain.
Wow.
Yeah. No?
That went dark quick.
Yeah. Or the Watchman's funeral scene rain.
That's a lot of rain, too.
Yeah.
Once again, very dark imagery here.
Oh, man. So this is our Spider-Man special, as you could tell by our hot girl voice intro. So we are definitely looking to talk about, is this the second gold age of Spider-Man? Obviously, a lot of stuff is coming up. A lot of stuff is out. The comics are always doing well. A lot of different comics, a lot of different figures. We just, last week, were at a very infamous or famous comic book shop in Laurel Hill. You know the one. It also has a satellite, so if that gives you any hints. Right next to Shell's Kava Bar. Good friend of the podcast. And we saw a lot of Spider-Man stuff. Statues and figures and comics and graphic novels. And you got to start back, and you got to start at the beginning. Obviously, God, how long ago was it now that Stan Lee passed?
November.
So not really that long, a couple of months still.
A few months.
There actually was a couple of comics specials that had Stan Lee in memorial, basically, at the store. So that was kind of really cool to see out that fast for a comic. Mm-hmm. But really, he started all of Spider-Man. And one of the things that you have to keep true if you really want to do Spider-Man well is all of his enemies are family and friends. All of his enemies are people he knows. They're not some magical villain from another universe or, just some random villain that just pops up. They're all people he knows. That's his thing. That's always been his thing. I recently watched the Into the Spider-Verse movie, animated movie. Brilliantly done. Very good story. I've played the Spider-Man video game. Brilliant graphics. Very complicated fighting style, swinging and all the rest of it. But very good. You should get it. It should be on your list. It's a very cool game. Very intense, but really cool. And one of the things you can do in the game is you can get all the different costumes that Spider-Man's worn, even from the multiverse stuff.
Nice.
Which is really kind of cool. So for you, what is some of the Spider-Man... Because you're not really a Marvel guy. You grew up on Batman. You grew up on DC. And while I'm not against Batman or DC, I like Batman. I like DC, a lot of stuff, except for Bane. But it's sometimes hard for people who only focus on the other comic to really get into the Marvel world, or vice versa. Was Spider-Man a part of, or is a part now of what you watch, listen, to as part of your daily?
Well, growing up, it was, if you turned on a Saturday morning cartoon, it was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Right.
So he was with Iceman and Firestar, and then occasionally another hero will pop in, or it was usually...
Guest star.
It was usually a guest star. But it was mainly those three. And the premise, Aunt May doesn't know that they're superheroes. And supposedly they're teenagers, but they're really grown teenagers, it seems.
So 1920s, really? If maybe not even a little older?
They're probably in their 20s, is what
Probably
it looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had like their own little secret lab. They did something and like the computer screen would come down behind the wall and flip around. So basically making Peter Parker out to be like the Peter Parker in the comic book.
Right.
Super smart, super genius.
Right. Which is a lot of the theming that kind of sticks out through most of it. They've kind of gotten away from that a little bit in the most recent iteration in Infinity War and
right.
Homecoming, where he's not as much focused on that super genius side. He's smart, but they don't really give him that super genius thing.
Well, he was always cracking jokes and stuff like that, and he would use his mind. He would outsmart these villains. In other words, in this. Now there was another cartoon that was before that one though.
Really?
That was
How
like
far back
I
are
want
we
to
going?
say. Well, I wasn't around when the cartoon was going on, but they
So
did
he
it.
says.
They did it in replay,
Oh yeah.
and they would show this cartoon really early in the morning.
Is that the one where they point
Before
the
school.
finger meme?
It's the Spider-Man does that theme. I think
the
it was
original.
from the 60s.
Yeah. Okay.
That one was much darker. That one was more like the comic book. So you would have somebody like the Vulture. He would come up with this cockamamie scheme, and then Spider-Man comes in and foils it. But it was always like, the shots of him going straight down the middle of the street, and you're kind of wondering what's he zapping onto because he's in the middle of the street.
Right? So he's not angling.
No.
There's no buildings in the middle of the street.
No,
There just aren't.
And there's those were my two entries, and they were really good. They were fun because they were like little portals, and of course in the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, it was a lot of Stan Lee's voice at the beginning, at the end.
Yeah, which is kind of a memorandum now looking back on it.
And then kind of Spider-Man fell off the map for a little while.
Say into the early '90s.
I would say late '80s because I think people were like,
well, like late '80s to like 2000s, he was kind of out.
Yeah.
No, because the Spider-Man with Tobey was 90.
no, he was 2001.
God, really?
Because they were going to release it 2001.
Right.
But because in all the shots they had, you could still see
The two towers.
The two towers. They had to go back and remove them, and they
did.
delayed production.
Right.
But before that, it was kind of like everyone wanted a Spider-Man. I wanted a Spider-Man movie.
Sure.
But no one knew like how to like make one. Are you going to do an origin story? Like, who doesn't know? Kid gets bit by a spider, right?
Right. Which they seem. It's the same thing like with Batman. We know his origin. Everybody knows his origin. Even if you've never done anything with Batman, you know his origin. Parents get shot, he seeks revenge for the rest of his life.
Right.
You don't need another origin story of Batman any more than you need another origin
Or
story.
if you're going to hit the reboot and you think people don't know where Batman came from, make sure it's less than 5 minutes.
Yes, like they did in the
BVS.
BVS.
It's less than
Very
5
short.
minutes.
Yeah, it's perfect. If you don't know.
But yeah. So
Spoilers.
So you there was that gap because everyone was like, all right, you came out with a Punisher
Right.
like a couple times.
Right, and
You came out with Blade.
Yeah, Blade was good.
Blade was good.
They're talking about bringing him back.
I say let that one go.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes wants to do it.
They already did the movies, which were great.
Yeah, they were good, solid movies.
And
I didn't see 3.
they
I saw
did-
1 and 2.
Well, that's
Maybe.
3. I think Blade Trinity was the one with Ryan Reynolds.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So in that one, that kind of killed that franchise.
Okay.
Then you had a TV show, Blade.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched
Short.
like the.
It got canceled.
Did it?
Yeah, it didn't last a full run.
It wasn't very good. I watched like the first episode.
People
like, this
were
is ridiculous.
expecting the movie. That's the whole thing.
What?
Like that first movie.
Why not?
Was like
Yeah, that's Blade.
If you could keep doing that,
Everybody would be happy.
yeah, everybody would be happy. But they couldn't do it in 2, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But it stayed closer to 1 than 3 did.
Yeah. 3 was way off the chain.
But back to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I was really wanting a legit. Excuse me.
Oh God, he's dying. You see, this is how podcasting works. Even in recorded, he's got to take a drink off camera here because he completely lost his composure.
These cashews.
His nuts.
Nice.
Or D's nuts, is that how
Nice. D's.
D's.
Oh, that's the funniest. Don't get me started. I'll start laughing again.
Oh God.
All right, so I got to start over. Look, I honestly choked.
He choked.
All right.
Legit movie.
A legit Spider-Man movie. And I actually wanted them to have not the Green Goblin as the main bad.
Okay.
I didn't want that because I felt like throughout like his little storyline there, like the whole Norman Osborn's the Green Goblin. I was like, no, give me somebody else.
Well, and
Give me the Shocker.
something basic.
Yeah.
Well, because if you go into the Green Goblin, that's a lot of story to catch people up on. You can't do it, and they did it okay. I won't say
They
did a
did
bad
it
job.
okay in the cartoon also because
yeah.
he made like maybe 3 or 4 appearances.
Right, and that's
And
a good anime. The ones from the 90s,
Yeah.
the animated, the Spider-Man one, those were good.
And it was like, you kind of felt bad for Norman because he's like, I don't want to be the Green Goblin. And then something sets him off and he becomes the Green Goblin.
Yeah. So he's kind of doing his, which is kind of a thing with Spider-Man's villains, is they are only villains for a very specific reason.
Right.
And Peter always finds that reason out and figures out how to stop them.
Now, I did have a lot of Spider-Man comics, but there were a lot of the ones I had from the 80s were like crossovers where he was making appearances.
Right. Oh, and also vice versa.
Yeah, people were making appearances in his.
Which they did in the cartoons as well.
Yeah.
In the anime shows, at least in the 90s one.
Yeah.
Which is something that could be interesting for them to do going forward, at least in animated. Now, I don't know what Sony owns the right to.
Sony owns Spider-Man.
Because they own Spider-Man, but I mean the right to as far as other characters
Oh,
in that
anything
world.
that touches Spider-Man, they own.
Okay, so they could do, and they're going to do it animated. After the success of Into the
Well,
Multiverse.
and Venom.
Well, Venom, was it truly a success?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, let me preface that. It was a success in the box office with numbers. Like, it brought in money.
Yeah.
Also, for fans, it's literally the last 90 seconds of the movie.
Right. You get to see Carnage.
No, you don't see Carnage.
No?
You see the dude.
Becoming Carnage?
No, you just see
the
him.
dude. You just see
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't even like transform.
No.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet. It's one of the ones on my list. But
It's Woody.
and you can't go wrong with
It's
Woody.
Woody.
I like
And
Woody.
He is, like, if you held a panel of the first time you ever saw Cletus, and you put it right next to Woody wearing that wig, it is literally...
Was it a wig or was it he just dyed his hair?
No, Woody doesn't have hair.
Does he not anymore?
No, he shaves his head like I do.
Oh, okay.
So all the stuff you see in movies, it's all wigged and glued on.
Okay. But yeah, that would be... Are we going to see a Maximum Carnage? No, because they're not going to cross Spider-Man over with that. But they could do Silver Sable. They could do Cloak and Dagger. They could... Now,
No, they can't do Cloak and
They
Dagger.
can't do Cloak and Dagger because that's Freeform and that's ABC, which is Disney. So they could do Silver Sable. They could do Punisher. Where does that fall?
All right, well, here's the thing. With Spider-Man, I've always said, why not get the dude, the hunter guy? What's his name?
Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
I read
I'll
those.
watch it.
I read that story.
I remember Kraven
It
the
was
Hunters,
like
yeah.
4 comic books long, and it was so good.
Yeah, they could do that. There are characters out there they could do it with. Now, obviously, this leads up to...
Who was the other one? All right, so they already did Green Goblin,
Yes.
Doc Ock,
Yes.
Sandman,
Yes.
and Electro.
Shocker.
Shocker.
Yeah. Now, Electro is a different character. There is Electro.
Yeah, there's Electro.
He's more powerful than Shocker. And
The
that's
Shocker
kind of,
got his power through the gauntlets.
which they showed for 2.5 seconds
Yeah.
in Far From Home. Technically, the character that was in Amazing Spider-Man, the second one,
He was closer.
He was Electro, really.
Okay.
Yeah, he was pretty much Electro. So they did do Electro. Rhino, they've hinted at a couple of times, but they've never really done.
Well, they did it for that 90 seconds at the end of that movie.
Yeah. Scorpion.
I completely forgot. Scorpion was cool in the cartoons, too.
Yeah.
In the comics, he was good, too.
And the night they did that Far From Home. Again, they showed a person with a scorpion on the side of his neck who might be Scorpion. Will they? We don't know. We've done the Lizard, so that's been done.
As long as they don't make it like the other Marvel movies where it's person gets his power, let's find the glowy thing.
No, and it's not going to be that for Spider-Man.
I hope not.
No, they're not.
I don't want that.
Well, I'm excited because this leads up to, of course, the Amazing Spider-Mans, who kind of had those villains. We kind of covered those.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, it's Far From Home.
Who else would you have? Well, the
Mysterio.
sad part, Mysterio would have been the best one to do of all of them.
Well, that's what the next movie is. Have you seen the trailer?
I don't want to see the trailer.
Why not?
I don't want to see the trailer. I don't want to be spoiled from it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Mysterio.
But here's the thing.
It's Mysterio.
Mysterio would be the best villain, but I also wish they did the Vulture with Robert De Niro.
I like who they chose for the Vulture. That was
I know,
well
Michael
done.
Keaton.
That was good.
But I wanted Robert De Niro.
I hear that, but I think Michael Keaton did a good job.
Yeah.
You can't...
The car scene.
Yeah,
begins
that was
and
it.
ends the car scene for me.
That's Spider-Man. That's literally what it's all about.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the characters we've seen. Mysterio's next.
Okay.
It looks really cool. And it's not a bulbous head anymore. No, it's normal size. It's normal size. Thank God.
I don't
Thank
know,
God.
because
No.
I just saw
He looks
Aquaman.
bad. No,
and I
no.
thought they're gonna screw Black Manta up. They're gonna
That was
screw him.
he was awesome.
And then he's the big helmet.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. And he said, And he said, like what you said, because he spoiled it for me.
It's a minor spoiler, but it's so...
I need a bigger helmet. Because the eyes were too close.
Yeah, it blew up. It was
And
pretty
it
awesome.
sorted out on itself.
That's funny, right? I mean,
Gosh.
they did it. They took it out of the comic book
Because literally,
and put it on film.
I was like...
Yeah.
Because remember, X-Men, everyone, they came out in the all-black uniforms.
Yes.
And I was like, why aren't they wearing the comic book uniforms?
And at least they talked about it. And they made fun of it. Well, at least it's not yellow spandex,
I wanted a Wolverine in yellow spandex.
That would be great. But who knows what that's going to be.
That's the next Wolverine, my understanding.
Yeah.
He's in the yellow and brown suit.
And I think they haven't picked anyone just yet, but they're looking. But, so, who else? Now, because we want to do crossovers. We want to do, I mean, I would love to see an X-Men Spider-Man crossover. Or a Spider-Man Fantastic Four crossover.
Give me a Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Live action.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Firestar, Iceman, nobody owns them.
Yeah, Iceman would be cool. I'd like to see something about Iceman. They did it in the original X-Men movie. The only good one was the first one.
Yes, Bobby.
Yeah.
But he was like
he was
11 or 12?
Yeah, exactly. You can't really do much there. They kind of started that too young.
He was
And he wasn't
trying to hook up with Rogue?
Yes, for a hot minute there. But they didn't do anything with him in the reboot.
No.
So that was kind of sad, because I like Iceman as a character. He's my favorite character growing up when I watched X-Men.
Yeah.
They could do a Spider-Man crossover there. That could be great. But what they are actually going to do is So Far From Home is next. Into the Multiverse was so successful. I think it's actually up for an award.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Original animated.
Yeah. My thing is they're now going to... If they were ever going to even consider letting it go, no longer. They're not going to do it. They're going to do Spider-Gwen. They're going to do Spider-Girl, Spider-Woman. They're going to do all
But they're going to... All this is going to be marketed toward the tweens.
But the story isn't tween. It really isn't fully tween. It's so well done. But it's so well done that I don't think the adults are going to care. It's a good, solid story. It's a multiverse story. So cool. And Spider-Gwen is an awesome character. Now, they're all, again, a little hair younger, so yes, the tweens probably are fitting it. But the character's Miles Morales, great introduction to that character. That was a perfect introduction.
It's been years that we've been wanting Miles Morales to have his due. Like, we're like, look, we get it. Everyone knows who Peter Parker is.
Yeah, let's get some
Miles Morales has been around for, 20 years now, it feels like?
Yeah, it feels like it's in 5 or 6, I think, really. But, so that's, I think, the direction is Sony's going to take it in an animated direction. We have Far From Home. We'll see what happens after Far From Home and the reboot of the whole universe with Infinity Wars and the finale of that, and see what they're going to do with Spider-Man. I mean, obviously, it's a giant spoiler that there's a Spider-Man Far From Home. Oh, I guess Peter Parker Spider-Man comes back. Shocker. Which doesn't make any sense to me why they put out the trailer now. Because, that kind of spoils the whole Endgame. I mean...
Does it?
Of course it does. We know he's dead, and then he comes back. So the question only is...
When did this happen?
This takes place in the future. We know it's in the future.
Do we know it's in the future?
Pretty much we know it's in the future. Yeah, unfortunately.
Are you saying your boys over there at Disney made a grave miscalculation?
No, I don't know if it's a grave miscalculation. I don't think it's a miscalculation because they
want you to be on top of the rooftops telling them they messed up the timeline.
I don't think they messed up the timeline. I think what they're doing is giving us a little... He's going to go off screen and get a drink again. I think what they're doing is...
I will not be satisfied until I see more trolling by you.
More trolling?
Yeah.
But here's to be fair. I don't troll either. I've never trolled DC. All I've ever said is the people that are trolling DC are fools and don't understand what DC does. So I've actually never trolled either. So you can troll all you want. I'm just not a troll kind of guy.
Oh, I'm not a troll.
I'm not a troll either. I don't troll DC or Marvel. I like to troll other things.
But their lack of Spawn.
They're talking about making another one. That's for another day. Yeah. Image as a whole, they're cow. Or tough topness.
Savage Dragon, Spawn.
They have so many good
Max.
I didn't read the Max. I read Spawn and I read the Savage Dragon, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah, I have Savage Dragon #1.
No, yeah, I used to. I used to have all those, but not anymore. So Spider-Man has a big, bright future coming up. It's a lot of question of what happens after Far From Home. It's a question of, are they going to stop making Spider-Man movies completely at that point, which could be, and just stick with the animated, and he kind of disappears off the Avengers.
It's less money for the studios to animate this.
Oh, yeah. And they can do more with it, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it. Well, you can do a ton of special effects, and then the whole thing. And I'm not against it, and the animated they do, I mean, the animation is freaking fantastic.
Well, because they
really
lost
good.
so much ground to DC animated.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Completely. I mean, that's an area that you're like Marvel. What now? Animated?
I think
What?
the latest one for
Real
DC.
Marvel, not Spider-Man. Because
Yeah.
remember, Spider-Man is Sony Animation, which is separate than the rest of the Marvel animation stuff.
Yes.
Sony animated stuff. I looked at what Sony had done in the past. They were the Smurf people.
Yep.
It's like, really?
Well, that's an empire.
That's ridiculous.
Everybody was Smurfing back then.
It's ridiculous.
They even had an album.
Yes. So, what would you like to see for the album? What would you like to see is the future next big thing for Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. We need to bring in the other characters. Like, wasn't there Spider-Woman?
Yes.
The one with the hourglass looking thing.
Yeah. She was basically the arachnid underbelly, like Black Widow.
Black Widow. Right?
Yeah.
Well,
Not the Black Widow,
Not
but
the
that's
Black Widow.
Black Widow Spider.
Bring in, what was the other one too? You
Oh,
you touched on Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl,
which is the daughter of Peter Parker.
right?
And then there's a new one, and I don't remember Spider something.
As long as they don't have the webs coming out of the skin,
You're against that.
I'm against that.
Okay.
I'd rather him be the genius to come up with the cartridges and the shooter.
Yeah, because that proves it. You know what they should do? That would be a dark and really good, and it probably would be animated. The Clone Wars. The Clone Wars Spider-Man with Kane.
I never saw that one.
It's never been done. It's a comic only.
I never.
But I read it, and basically the Jackal, interesting villain, which is supposed to be behind Peter Parker's parents and the whole thing.
Yes.
He makes clones. He makes clones, and that's where Ben Reilly comes from.
Nice.
And Kane.
Nice.
That would be that's
would be
what I
good.
want to see.
But
I would see it.
that looks more like a Netflix series, like The Punisher.
It could be, but I don't know if they do it live action or animated. But it would have to be dark. It's a dark story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
Netflix. Well, they're going to lose that property anyways. I understand. Right?
Yes. That's the theory. No one's really sure what's going on there and where the rights.
And
were.
the nonsense that I see on the internet about how like numbers are down. My understanding is Netflix doesn't divulge their numbers.
No, it doesn't. It's bullshit. Someone's just making up stuff.
I watched most of season 2, and it's really good.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah, go.
I don't know why people are dissing it. Like I read an article where like they were trying to say, yeah, even John Barenthal, Castle, was on a talk show, and even he made fun of the writing. I was like, I don't think he was making fun of the writing. He was just saying he'll do whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's he's not a conversation. It's not Shakespeare, for God's sake. He's going to blow and shoot things. That's Punisher.
He's a weather system.
Yeah.
He comes in, he messes things up, and then he's gone. That's the Punisher.
And one last question on Spider-Man to stay on topic.
Oh yeah, Punisher. Well, they did cross over a few times.
That would be a cool crossover.
All right, because the
You
one
already have
time
your Frank Castle.
he was hired to kill Peter Parker or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And there was a few comics where like literally they went
toe to
toe.
Yeah, that was a good crossover.
Yeah,
too.
and I remember seeing the comic art where you see like the Punisher, huge with the big white skull.
Yeah.
And he's got this machine gun and he's like swinging in and he's like firing at Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like trying to dodge all these bullets, so he's contorting in midair and everything. And the artwork was amazing. I want to say maybe McFarlane drew it.
Really, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I want to say McFarlane did that one.
That would be cool. But one of the big things for Spider-Man is really going to be: is it going to be more animated? Is it going to be more live action?
Are they going
to do more crossovers?
I prefer live action.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind him like making like the same live action person appearing in something else. But that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, these guys asking
They're
for
starting to earn a lot.
Insane money. What is it? Helmsworth, I think he's done because if they made another movie with them, it's 30 mil.
Yes,
They're on the hook for 30 mil.
Yeah,
or they just hit the reboot and it's Girl Thor.
Yeah, which I'm on the fence about. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So I want to see that.
Yeah.
I would. I don't know. Maybe I'd like to see him. Maybe just a one-off. Maybe it has to be animated, where like he mutates into a spider. Because there were a couple.
Yeah, he did that. That was a big thing. I mean, hell, we all want to see one thing that will never happen.
Yeah.
We all want to see the Maximum Carnage series. Scream and Carnage and Venom and Cloak and Dagger and, I mean, all of it. They already have all of these characters, except for Scream and Doppelganger, but how hard is that? They have them all. They're all
It's never gonna
just
happen.
sitting there, but they will never do it, unfortunately. But I would see a Ben Reilly, even if it was animated.
Yeah.
I would watch that. That would be a dark one. They'd have to do it dark because they have 24 hours to live. It's going to be dark, depressing, which is okay with Spider-Man every once in a while. Or the death of Aunt May. That'd be fantastic. Except the young hot Aunt May now.
Well, you Marissa Tomei?
Yeah,
yeah.
So
yeah.
screwy.
I
But she's
like
hot.
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that one.
Can't go wrong. All right, well, that's Spider-Man, all in a nutshell.
Spider-Man.
If we
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
if we missed anything,
Slings a web.
if we missed anything at all, and you'd like to talk more Spider-Man or something that we didn't cover or you didn't see up there, if you do like the pictures, let us know too. Reach out. We're 4 things is where we're focused.
I really want to hear that song now.
You should hear the Aerosmith version.
Oh, I've heard the Aerosmith
Yeah,
version.
it's pretty good.
But I still like the classic 1960s version.
Classic. So Instagram, Twitter, we are always on Facebook, and of course, where you're watching us right now, please subscribe if you haven't already.
Subscribe.
Yes,
Please.
do so. We'll do a subscribe button this time. It'll be exciting.
Running out of snacks.
If you will, Ernie.
Peace out.
Do you too want to get tangled up into their web? Follow the boys on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe to their YouTube channel.